I ended up becoming an atheist in the process because the whole thing is full-time bullshit. It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense to someone that is not intellectually honest with themselves. Okay, I'm Chidera Ezema, popularly known as the King of Gomorrah on TikTok. I joined the seminary when I was a boy from 11 years, my JSS1, and then I left when I was 24. That is after my philosophy degree. So I became an atheist.
He was just trying to tell us his journey to enlightenment before there was a break in transmission. But he's back right now, so he can continue from where he stopped. You're welcome back, comrade.
Okay, as I was saying, back then during lectures, I do notice that there are certain things that are being taught in class, certain concepts, and then you see that these things are conflicting with what the church is teaching, and they're conflicting with certain things in the Bible. And I do ask questions, but then the priests won't answer the question correctly, because when somebody answers your question, and when somebody is trying to dodge the question, and in 3 or 4 situations, I asked a question, and the question I asked ended the class. Like, I asked a question, and the question ended the class because the priest couldn't answer it and stuff, and the whole class was, some persons were against me. Why should I ask such question? You get. So the questions I asked couldn't be answered. Like, it couldn't be answered logically, because answering them logically, you will end up shattering something the church is teaching, and that will sound like heresy if the priest should flow with the answers logically. Then, because I so much wanted to be sure of everything I'm doing, I had to start making further research, start reading further to actually be sure of this thing I want to do, because I wouldn't like to be a priest tomorrow and I'm not even sure of what I'm doing. I just wanted to be sure of what I'm doing, and just like that, boom, everything stops making sense, because the bullshit is so much that it can't be ignored. Like, you can't see these things and unsee it, else you are not telling yourself the truth, or else you feel the priesthood is your all and all. Once you know that as a human being that the priesthood is not your all and all, that you can venture into other things and succeed, then
We just have to bear with the network interruptions until I know that we're gonna finish the show. All right, you can continue. So you were trying to tell me that you got to a point where you began to have a cognitive dissonance. Things began not to make sense to you. And you are not a type that concede to confirmation bias. Most of our brothers that are educated that still concede to religiosity and superstition, they do so because of confirmation bias. Not that they don't know the fact. The facts are clear. They are crystal clear that some of these mumbo jumbles are,
yeah, but
yeah. So, but it's just confirmation bias, and some of them. But some of us that don't concede to some of us that don't concede to cognitive dissonance always make our decision and make our stand. No, but some of them concede to that and allow confirmation bias to becloud their sense of reasoning. You were trying to say something. Yes, wrap it up before I put up this speculation that is hovering around seminary school of abuses by the by the priests and some superiors. So I want you to, wrap up what we're trying to explain before you respond to this. Do you think there is a kind of abuse in the seminary school after concluding what you were saying?
okay, back to what I was saying before. The thing there is that, like I said, along the line there were so many questions, and these questions in my mind, they couldn't just be answered. I asked and I asked, they couldn't just be answered.